morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. And it is October 31st, 2021, Halloween. Boo. So, good morning. I'm tired. If you can't tell, I slept in. It's 7:17 in the morning, and yeah, just out and about all day yesterday. Met a fellow crypto friend and Bankless DAO member in real life yesterday, Genetics, and went over to her house, and she was having a get together with pizza and board games and video games and kids, and it was pretty cool, man. Yeah, and then we went to Cabela's and looked at all the fish in the aquarium and all the camping gear that I can drool over, and played the shoot 'em up game there. And in the morning we went to another Christmas get together right after my interview yesterday, and there was it's my neighbor 2 doors down, and it turns out he says, well, I'm going to New York in on Monday. And I was like, oh, cool, what for? And he's like, oh, NFT NYC. And I was like, hell yeah, man. And and we start talking about NFTs, and it turns out like the dude's like a baller, and in the NFT world, he showed me his NFT collection, and my jaw dropped. He's buying CryptoPunks, he's buying the original, what are the mice that were before Crypto Kitties even, um, and yeah, like and he knows his stuff, and he's whitelisted on all these NFT projects and stuff like that. And he's approaching things from an NFT perspective, and I've been approaching things from more of a DeFi perspective and stuff like that, because there's several ways you can approach the crypto space, and there's a lot of different things you can get interested in the crypto space, but they all kind of mishmash together. Some people go through DeFi, some people go through NFTs, other people go through, I don't know, I mean, tons of other ways to approach the crypto space, so yeah, I mean, we spent the entire little, we were doing his wife had put out a bunch of little pumpkins for all the kids to decorate, and then me and him just went and huddled off in the corner and talked about NFTs the entire time. So it's pretty cool, man. It's like, it's something that brings people together so they know it. And then our other neighbor came over, and he was just like, he's like, oh, I heard of NFTs. But so then we ended up going down the rabbit hole with him and explaining to him, and then showing him our MetaMask wallets and like how to transfer things from one wallet to another. And talking to him about the differentiation between centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges and things like that. And it's you can just, it's weird whenever you come across, like, I'm in full conversation with a total like person in the crypto space, like deep into it, and then somebody comes in who's a normie, and like it's like record scratch, the conversation stops, and then you have to like back up and then like explain everything. And but the dude was totally cool and patient with us as we tried to explain this stuff, because I feel like a fire hose sometimes when I'm trying to explain this crypto stuff to people who don't know about it, especially whenever I'm like already deep in a conversation about some, um, minutia detail in some project. Yeah, and I have to back up and explain how a MetaMask works. But that's the process we have to go through right now. And as people in the crypto space, you should be cognizant of people, of where you are in the space right now, because you're super early, and you're part of your responsibility, I would even say, is to learn how to create, how to use language that makes crypto understandable to new people wanting to jump in, because right now is a crucial time, with the inflation of the dollar, with the privacy going out the window and everything like that, for people to learn about it. And the harder you make it for them, that's like almost, it's basically leaving your friends behind. Do you really want to leave people behind who generally want to get out of the mess that we're in with the dollar and Web 2.0 and our data and our centralization and our privacy and all that stuff? There are people who generally want to get out of it, but they don't know where to start, or what questions to ask. So I would say it's even our responsibility to break it down and hit the brakes for a second every once in a while, within our own crypto world, and explain it to people in navigatable language, that people would be able to understand. And I was explaining gas for Ethereum, and I said how gas is really actually necessary, because gas provides security, and people complain and bitch about the Ethereum gas prices all day long, every day, who are in the crypto world. And I understand, I bitch about it too. It's why the reason why I did not get in on the DAO Punks NFT drop. Is the reason why I haven't gotten my skateboard NFT yet. And I'm going to talk about this NFT here in a second. But gas is good though, because it prevents DOS attacks, denial of service attacks, and denial of service attacks are whenever a group or an entity sits there and takes a website, and they do all these requests on a website and just ping it. Say for instance, like some kind of form, an order entry form, for instance, and they just hit it thousands and thousands of times to the point where it overloads the server and it crashes the website. And he was asking the question. He's like, "Well, why would people do this?" And I asked the same question too. Why do people just are out there just, and that's just the age old question. Why are people out there just to trash the system and trash things that are good, And isn't that just the age old $1 million, with the dollar inflating, it's way more than $1 million in question. And, why are there assholes out there? Like seriously, why do you want to just crash somebody's hard work? And I get it if there's some kind of overlording, major system. And I told him, I was like, there's just bad people out there. And I was like, there's people that, there's competition, people want to destroy the competition. And I was like, it's just the age old question of for anything that's good out there, there will be something people want to destroy. And then I went on to explain, yes, there's DOS attacks, denial of service attacks. I was like, but people have been able to figure out the IP address where these attacks are coming from. I go, so they've created DDoS attacks, distributed denial of service attacks, where thousands of IP addresses will be all honed in and pinpointing on one particular website address and trying to bring it down. I go, and this is a major problem in Web 2.0 and in the internet in general. I go, and this is where gas comes into play, because if they're trying to send in all these thousands of pings and inquiries to a website and it requires gas, then it stops them, because it makes it to where it's unaffordable for them to be able to try to take down a website with multiple requests. I was like, so that's one of the major reasons for gas on Ethereum. And and I explained to him there's only so much block size on Ethereum, and if you have a huge NFT drop, and that thousands and thousands of people want, like 10,000 or 100,000 people want all at once, then you have all these people at one time trying to use the Ethereum blockchain, and the more people you have simultaneously trying to use the Ethereum blockchain, then the more expensive gas gets, because everybody has to bid like an auction to the miner to process their transaction. And then that creates high gas fees, and the highest gas fee gets their transaction put on the block. And so in a way that kind of takes away the whole aspect of democratization. So I feel like right now we're coming near the end of actual normal people being able to interact and transact on the layer 1 Ethereum blockchain. Even with the merge in Ethereum 2.0 coming out, and that's taking a while. It's like they're trying to do open heart surgery, but even with that, it's I believe that layer 2 solutions, ZK rollups, Optimism, Arbitrum, and then Matic and Polygon, or Polygon, I'll just call it now, and several other Starkware. All these other layer 2 solutions are being built on top of Ethereum as a layer in which people can transact daily. So, and I've always used this waiter analogy. You have the waiters all around a restaurant, within that restaurant, serving food, doing transactions with the customer every single day. And then at the end of the day, they settle out, and the manager gathers all the transactions and receipts and and everything like that, and they settle out with the tips. And then he takes or she takes that zip bag to the bank, and they deposit the final entry in the bank. So that bank would be the Ethereum blockchain, and all the waiters transacting all day would be the layer 2 solutions and stuff like that. So um, that's kind of how I visualize that. Anyway, I can't remember how I got started on all this, but uh, yeah, I was talking about NFTs and I don't know. We just went down the route. Oh, and I was talking about communicating all this stuff to normal people and how we need to be sure to make the time to help and teach other people. Because it all goes back to this tweet that I shared a couple days ago. Let's see here. Broke gambling on every new fad coin, and that would include Doge and SHIB, and that's just like typical, just like scratch lottery behavior. People that just gamble on SHIB and Doge. And I'm not saying that it hasn't created some wealthy people, just like the man, my kombucha's overflowing. Just like the lottery has created some wealthy people, but yeah. 9 out of 10 of the people that win the lottery don't go on to really keep that wealth and retain it. So, and then woke, recognizing that the future will be built on Ethereum, and I do see a lot of the future being built on Ethereum. I think it will be broken out into a couple different economies. Ethereum will be one. Bitcoin, after listening to that whole Bitcoin versus Ethereum debate on Bankless, and that's a really good debate. You should definitely listen, and you'll understand the perspectives of both a lot more. And I do understand the perspectives of Bitcoin maxis a lot more after that, maximalists. But the Bitcoin maximalists, and I agree with them. They think that Bitcoin does not really need to innovate in the way that Ethereum does, because they think, okay, what is the purpose of a blockchain? What are they selling? They're selling block space, and you have a bunch of different blockchains, and they're all competing. And who has the best block space? Well, the blockchain that has the best block space is the blockchain that has the highest claim to actual assertion of truth, and that it takes a lot of security and a lot of decentralization to achieve that truth. And so, there's a lot of blockchains going for scalability, going for speed, and all that stuff. But if they don't have true decentralization and ultimate security, then they're not going to be worth a whole lot in the future. They might have some instant worth to take care of some instant needs, and I think Solana is doing this right now. But Solana is pretty highly centralized right now, and they're super funded by VCs. And what's going to happen when all that VC money runs out, and then they have to start charging actual transaction fees on their blockchains? That's one of the big questions right now. But anyway, Bitcoin, they see themselves in the future, yes, not as your everyday transactional currency, and not even as the blockchain that a lot of smart contracts and decentralized finance will be run on and stuff like that. So there's a place for Ethereum and all that in the future. What Bitcoin, I think, is counting on is for that to be like an ultimate chain of truth. And there's a lot of value in that, and that's what they want to sell. And so the people that would finalize and put their ultimate proclamations and transactions on Bitcoin would be world powers, large banks, huge corporations, finalizing some extremely huge deal or peace treaty or something would be put on the Bitcoin blockchain. It wouldn't be for your everyday thing. And that's where I see the value in that. And that's why Bitcoin could potentially go up to millions and millions of dollars per Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is the worldwide ultimate source of truth, where actual Bitcoin clad treaties get put into place, and you own a piece of that, it's worth a lot, and you own a piece of the chain that those treaties are on and stuff like that. So I think a lot of Bitcoin people are looking well into the future, and this would be a time when none of us are alive. It's like 100 years into the future, and but Bitcoin is a store of value in that way, and I believe that Bitcoin's trying to be an ultimate source of truth. And truth is hard to come by the deeper you get into mathematics. And I also learned this through my theological studies. You know, it's like the more you learn, the less you know, and the more you learn about truth, the less you know. And you know, the more people try to find an ultimate source of truth, the more valuable that potential ultimate source of truth becomes as it passes test after test after test of people trying to crack it, of people trying to use it for anything other than it's intended to be used for, and stuff like that. So I think that's where some of the value of Bitcoin comes in, and I do think that's where a lot of the Bitcoin community of people that really understand the future of Bitcoin are really counting on. So I don't even think that Bitcoin and Ethereum are necessarily competitors. I think they will both progress into the future and into their own specific um, domains. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Just go back to that Bankless HQ episode from a few days back, and it's that debate between the Bitcoin maxis and the Ethereum heads, and yeah. So can't remember why I got on that. Yeah, okay. So I was a broke, gambling on every new fad coin. Woke, recognizing that the future will be built on Ethereum, and enlightened, giving a few hours a day to add value to the ethosphere for others. Build, help, answer, guide, welcome, share. So going back to my conversation at the little pumpkin painting party with my neighbor who's deep into NFTs, and me and him got super deep into crypto and NFTs over there in the corner. Then our other neighbor jumps in, and we have to show him how to use a MetaMask wallet. This is where enlightened comes to play. Giving a few hours a day to add value to the ethosphere for others. Build, help, answer, guide, welcome, share. And that is part of our responsibility of people in the Web3 and crypto space, is to bring new people in. Don't let them be left behind. Don't let them become a slave to this metaverse, slave verse that they're trying to create, and help people become enlightened to where they can go around that metaverse, because there are alternate economies being developed, privacy chains, you know, I mean, Bitcoin's a source of truth, like you don't have to be a slave to the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, to the dollar, to be stuck in this freaking metaverse operating as a battery for the system, for the Facebook system. So for Mark Zuckerberg and for all the other globalist cronies out there who just want us to own nothing and be happy, that they want us to trade in our real world assets for metaverse NFTs, which, I mean, I love NFTs, don't get me wrong, but it's just, and NFTs, and I explained to them, NFTs, like the Magna Carta back in the whatever, and whenever that was made back in the 1200s or whatever, allowed peasants to have ownership of land, and for real. And then so now NFTs are allowing everybody to have ownership of their digital property, and artists to actually own their digital version of their art. Because I mean, like I've said before, I was creating GIFs on MySpace and animations and everything like that back in the day, and I had an entire hard drive full of these GIFs, but there's no way that I could really own them, if I put them up on the internet. Somebody could just snag it and use it or whatever. And yeah. But anyway, yeah, so enlightenment is giving a few hours a day to add value to the ethosphere for others. Build, help, answer, guide, welcome, share. Okay, so that's a long tirade I just kind of went on for like 20 minutes. I've spent like this entire episode talking about that. So shoot, I was going to talk about the croissant and this thread here, but I guess I'll talk about it tomorrow. But I'm really excited about this because I want to spend the entire episode talking about the croissant. I do want to talk about this real quick. PubDAO. So Web3 media is greater than Web2 media. So Camila Russo, she is the founder of the Defiant, and the Defiant is they've created a community around their media outlet. I listen to the Defiant, and let's go take a look at their website. Defiant. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the Defiant. So it's mainly focused around DeFi, And I guess it's hard to do a search on this. Notice I use pre-search for all my searches. I don't use Google. So if you're still using Google, you should definitely get off of Google and use pre-search. So yeah, pre-search is definitely superior, and it allows you to find things that Google blocks and gives you, all neutral solutions. And so, okay, so the Defiant, where are you at? I mean, there's a lot of Defiants. Here we go. That's Camila Russo, the Defiant. I mean, it's on LinkedIn. I don't really want to go to her LinkedIn page, but maybe that'll take me to the actual website. Let's see here. Um, yeah, Camila Russo wrote a book called where is it? It's somewhere in here. Um, the Infinite. I can't. It's something the Infinite. It's a really good book, and it talks about the history of Ethereum and stuff like that. So this is Camila Russo right here. She's born in Argentina, where they have like major, like they're dealing with hyperinflation and stuff like that. And there's a lot of motive for people from um, countries like Argentina and Venezuela, Nigeria, yeah, even Nigeria, yeah, and Zimbabwe, and there's a lot of places where the currency has been extremely devalued. The financial system's completely unstable, and some of those people are the best people to tell you about Bitcoin and are extremely a lot more passionate about the monetary system and Bitcoin than we are here in the United States. But we're starting to become a lot more aware of this as this problem grows. So, and as our dollar is just being currently, a lot of people claim in hyperinflation, and a lot of people say, well, that's just hyperbole, and we're not in total hyperinflation yet. But I mean, do you really want to sit there and argue about the subtleties of um, deflation, about exactly what it is, or do you just want to recognize the fact that our dollar is being completely um, printed out of existence to the point of economic crisis right now? So the Defiant right here, and I don't. This is their newsletter, and I'm a subscriber to their newsletter, and they're focused on DeFi. Anyway, the point was to get back to this tweeter. I was just kind of just showing you what the Defiant is, and yeah, and it's this media outlet, and there's the website. Why can't I? This must be the Defiant.io now. So if you're looking to learn about crypto, there's decrypt.co, the Defiant, and it'll teach you pretty much everything that you want to know about DeFi. Here it is right here. DeFi 101, which is great. So yeah, check it out. It's a great media outlet. Camila Russo has a journalism background and has applied that journalism background to all things DeFi. So anyway, the point is decrypt.co is another major media outlet. So decrypt.co is another one that I subscribe to, get my news from. And Cointelegraph also is another big one. CoinDesk. But for DeFi, it's Decrypt and the Defiant. And so anyway, the DAO, the PubDAO that they were talking about, like Decrypt has been playing around with a lot of different ideas. They've come out with a Decrypt token, and they're still trying to mess around and figure out how they want to decentralize all this. But they're really working on becoming a decentralized media outlet. And so let's go back to this Twitter thread and let's take a look here. Introducing PubDAO. And there's as if you haven't noticed, I've been really focused on all types of DAOs lately. Let me check over here on my stream. I haven't even looked at my stream yet. So let's see here. Okay. All right. So introducing PubDAO, a decentralized crypto newswire. Decrypt and founding contributors, including the Defiant, ACJR, and prominent DAOs, have launched a media DAO for crypto coverage. Okay, so it's the Defiant and Decrypt have jumped together. I don't know who ACJR is. Let's take a look and see. Acronyms. It's probably an acronym for everything. It's a professional body that recognizes the best journalism and research on cryptocurrencies and blockchains. So, interesting. I learned something new. See, this is what I love about the crypto world. I do learn something new every single day. So the ACJR.network, the Association of the Association of Cryptocurrency Journalists and Researchers. The ACJR is a professional body that recognizes the best journalism and research on cryptocurrencies and blockchains. We are now accepting members. You can apply to be a member here. Get the ACJR newsletter highlighting the best work in the space, edited by Leah Kuhn and Molly Jane Zuckerman, not Zuckerberg. Get the latest on our virtual events and meetups. Over 400 plus journalists and researchers in the ACJR Telegram to talk about hot stories or cool research. Follow us on Twitter. Yes, I will. And retweet us. Read about how our ACJR is structured and check out the list of founding members and officers. Yeah, it's a professional body that recognizes the best journalism and research on cryptocurrencies and blockchains. It recognizes that free markets are inextricably linked to the freedom of information. We promote excellence in journalism and research in the field, support colleagues in the field, educate the industry on best practices, and explain the field to those learning about it. The ACJR's founding interim officers, Leah Kuhn, June Ian Wong, Pete Rizzo, Molly Jane Zuckerman, Jack Zeward, David Pan, Michael Del Castillo stepped down as co-treasurer due to personal commitments. Okay. So cool. That's they're founding an organization to try to I guess standardize research on cryptocurrency. I normally don't like standardization organizations because I think they can become very cliquish and stuff like that, like industry organizations. However, the crypto space is one place where you could use a little bit of standardization because it is kind of the Wild West. So I'll give this one a pass. Not like it needed my pass or anything, but all right. So let's go back over here to this article about the PubDAO. Today, Decrypt did something we've never done before, published an original news story that will also run on multiple sites. So no longer are these cryptocurrency publications trying to compete against one another. They are cooperating. And then this ties back to like the beginning of the show, what I was talking about how, us bringing new people in and cooperating with each other in the cryptocurrency space, even though we might come from different angles of the cryptocurrency world. We all have a mission to try to get Web 3.0 out there, get decentralization out there, the proper message out there, and not the CBDC Fedcoin type of stuff. Really bring out the what cryptocurrency is supposed to be all about, and which is decentralization. So the story, which hits on multiple hot button issues in the crypto world, NFTs, DAOs, and crypto lobbying efforts in DC, marks the launch of PubDAO, a new media DAO we've been building out behind the scenes on Discord. DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations, and we see huge potential for their role in journalism. PubDAO is separate from Decrypt editorial and is far more than a Decrypt effort. We helped merely hatch it. Early PubDAO contributors from other DAOs like Friends with Benefits, Gitcoin, Collabland, Digitalex, API3, and more, plus some of our journalist peers from the DeFi and ACJR helped build this framework. And I forgot to jump back in deep into Friends with Benefits. I said I would, and I'm going to, because that's a huge topic of interest for me. But, like a golden retriever, I get a little sidetracked sometimes. So think of PubDAO as akin to a decentralized Associated Press. PubDAO stories get brainstormed openly in the PubDAO Discord channel, a truly collaborative process that favors coordination over competition. The decentralized wire service is merely the first part of a broader plan for PubDAO that will ultimately produce guilds made up of writers, editors, photographers, illustrators, advertisers, and marketers. If all goes according to plan, those guilds and an evolving set of protocols will reduce the cost and friction in publishing. We hope that results in new, far better ways of monetizing and a healthier ecosystem. The economic tool powering all of this will be a token, which is coming soon. Eventually, PubDAO members can contribute to the story pipeline by staking and earning governance tokens. Stay tuned for an in-depth announcement to follow with full token details. For now, at the outset, PubDAO is an open experiment in rethinking broken digital media models. Since its inception, Decrypt is aimed not to just to cover news about Web3, but to also use Web3 tech to find a better path for online content. So don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, right? So last March, we launched our reader token, which I have some of that Decrypt token because I was using the app, and it was kind of a little pilot program. And the phone app, I think, is a little clunky, and that's where I was able to get my tokens by reading the articles on my phone. But every time that I would close the app, I would have to open up, then I would have to log back in using my username and password, which I had to type in, and then it got sent to my email for me to verify, and then I had to open it back up in the window of my phone. It just turned into a major hassle. So the UX on that app was not really that great, in my honest opinion. But I like the concept and what they're trying to do. So they launched a reader token, which allowed readers to earn tokens for reading stories on our mobile app. Simple and fun. Then we commissioned the unique NFT artworks that token holders could buy with their tokens. Next, we started doing snapshot polls that allowed Decrypt NFT holders to vote on what learn content we publish next. The experimentation has led us to PubDAO, and now we want to invite more contributors in as we build. We hope to show that decentralized working groups and token incentives can create a better way for projects to get their stories told, and for the value of content creation to go to the storytellers rather than the platforms. In other words, maybe media DAOs will prove to be the long-awaited killer app. For now, PubDAO is an open community experiment in rethinking broken digital media models. If you share our vision for creating a more equitable and collaborative future where creators and their audience can own the value they create, consider joining us as an early contributor. So let's take a look at this. Let's go join. And I'm not going to join because they're actually looking for like actual journalists, and not some random schmo like me. And plus, I don't know if I have the bandwidth. That's like the new buzzword. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to add this to my project portfolio. But yeah, I actually don't know if I have the space in my time frame to add this. So want to help create a more equitable and collaborative model for media? Consider joining PubDAO as a writer, editor, or builder. Please only apply if you have a strong interest. We're keeping the community small while we figure everything out, and we'll progressively open up more opportunities for everyone to help out as we build together. Then you just give your Discord email address and all this stuff like that. So anyway, and your resume. It just looks cool, and I like everything that's going on. I mean, Decrypt is one of my go-tos, one of my favorite media outlets. Decrypt, Defiant, Bankless are my top three, and I also get stuff from Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, and all the other news sources, forecast and all this stuff. But interesting stuff, man. I like the way things are progressing, and I can't believe I spent 32 minutes talking about all this stuff. I just I woke up this morning and I was just like sugar hangover because I don't drink, but I ate tons of sugar yesterday, and yeah. I was like, I feel like a squash bug, and I did end up getting out of bed and coming down here, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll talk about the croissant, because the croissant is coming out with its own subscription platform, which I'm definitely getting a subscription and an NFT to the croissant platform, which I'll talk about tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and I mean, I might see if I can interview that guy that creates the Ravencoin shoes. He's been having a little bit of a hard time as far as getting his computer together and stuff like that, and then just, he works hard, probably, I can tell, just like I do. I go to my 40-hour-a-week job as well and do this stuff. And it's just tough to sometimes carve out time to do this stuff. And I'm lucky enough to where I have a stable enough schedule to where I can do this predictably every morning. But that's not the case for everybody. And I need to recognize that and have compassion and empathy for that for people who might not have the same schedule or opportunity that I do in this way. And some people may have more opportunity than me too, but I can't sit there and look at those people and be like, yeah, you're the reason that I'm not doing it. You can't point fingers. You can only do what you can with what you have and do the best of it, and maximize what you can. All right, that being said, I won't preach at you. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow or later tonight, who knows. Bye.